The story is about a ship stuck in the Antarctic Ocean carrying 70 men. The ship remained trapped there for 133 days. The ship is heading towards Australia. Captain Petrov was a very good man, valuing the lives of the people on the ship more than his own. The ship was sailing through the icy sea, progressing forward. However, after moving a little further, they realized that a huge ice mountain has blocked their path. Knowing this, Petrov orders the ship to turn right to navigate around the ice mountain. As the ship passes by, pieces of ice start falling onto the ship. Suddenly, the ship jolts, causing a man and his dog to fall into the water. Petrov goes to rescue him, wanting to save the men by placing a ladder and jumping into the water. But the ship's second captain argues with Petrov that he is risking everyone's life for one man. The ship kept on moving forward while they were arguing. Another man jumps into the water to save his companion, but sees that his friend has already drowned due to the freezing water. However, the dog is still alive and he manages to bring it back onto the ship. The water was so cold that the men could barely speak. Now the ice mountain posed a significant challenge for them moving forward. Their radar system malfunctions, which was a big problem since it helped them locate where the ice was in the water. Without the radar, they couldn't determine the ice's locations anymore. They managed to get the ship through the storm, but a large piece of the ice mountain is still headed towards them. The second captain takes responsibility for everything. The death of one man and the malfunctioning of the radar, Petrov was blamed for everything. Therefore, the second captain wrote a report and sent it to their superiors. However, the other crew members disagreed, knowing that Petrov was a good captain and would never intentionally cause such problems. Despite this, the superiors believed the report and removed Petrov from his position. They decided that until a new captain arrived, the second captain would take over. A few days later, a new captain was sent via helicopter. As the helicopter was landing, pilot's suit caught fire due to the engine overheating. The crew quickly extinguished the fire and saved the pilot and the new captain. The new captain was very strict and harsh. He saw a crew member playing with a cube. He took the cube and threw it away. The ship was completely stuck, surrounded by ice, unable to move forward or backward. In Moscow, Petrov's wife, a journalist, was pressuring the minister to help her husband, who is stuck on the ship. It was evident that the new captain did not like Petrov and rejected his plan. The new captain explained that the fuel they were planning to use for the explosion might be needed in the coming days. Therefore, he declared an emergency and announced that the ship was severely stuck in the ice. They had to turn off the ship's lights to conserve resources, since they didn't know when they would be able to get out. Petrov, however, was not willing to stay silent. He thought about how long they would remain stuck and wait for help. So Petrov takes a flare gun and leaves the ship to investigate the ice mountain. The helicopter pilot who brought the new captain sees him, but assures Petrov that he won't tell anyone. As Petrov walks on the ice, he finds the same cube the new captain had thrown away, but falls into an ice hole. He fires the flare gun, signaling the pilot, who alerts the rest of the crew to rescue him. They bring Petrov back to the ship. The new captain scolds Petrov harshly, but Petrov says he has important information. He tells the captain that a large ice mass is moving towards them from behind, and if they don't get help in time, they will freeze to death. The captain asks for proof, and Petrov shows the cube, explaining that it was thrown far away, but found close by due to the moving ice mass. The captain begins to believe Petrov, but says nothing and leaves silently. Meanwhile, some crew members are playing guitar to relieve their stress, but the captain breaks the guitar, ordering them to clear the ice from the outside of the ship. Petrov tells the new captain that he doesn't need to be so harsh on everyone. He mentions that no one will come to rescue us, because the weather is terrible everywhere and cold winds are blowing. We need to stick together to face this crisis. Petrov says we see the ship getting more covered with ice daily. Petrov suggests to seek help from Australia, but the captain refuses. Ice starts entering the ship and eventually a hole forms in the lower part of the ship, causing water to flow in, spoiling all the food and clean drinking water. The crew manages to seal the hole, but the danger is far from over. Panic spreads among the crew, fearing they won't survive as they only have fuel for 3 days and no food left in this desperate situation. The second captain incites the crew against the new captain, saying they must act against his orders or they will all die here. The crew agrees with the second captain and locks the new captain up, then proceeds with their plan. They decide to take 5 steps away from the ship and set off an explosion, hoping to clear the ice. Petrov tries to persuade them not to do it, but no one listens. And the explosion fails. The new captain at a loss tries to commit suicide by jumping off the ship in his uniform. Before he can harm himself, Petrov stops him. The crew feels deeply ashamed of their foolishness and the wasted fuel. They go to the new captain's office and apologize. Meanwhile, we see Petrov's wife, who has boarded another ship to save their lives. Back on the ship, a man informs everyone that a massive storm is approaching. They see cracks forming in the ice. However, the others argue that it is too dangerous. Petrov insists, saying it is their only chance. "We can do this," Petrov says confidently. The new captain, having recognized Petrov's capabilities, agrees to help. He suggests that Petrov should guide them from the helicopter since the radar was broken. But Petrov insists on staying with the ship, knowing it better. The new captain then offers to guide them from the helicopter. While Petrov stays with the ship, the crew, filled with new enthusiasm, begins working on the plan. The new captain directs them from the helicopter, guiding the massive ship through a narrow 10-meter gap between towering 100-meter ice mountains. Suddenly, the helicopter crashes into the ice mountain due to strong winds and falls. Seeing this, Petrov orders the ship to turn back as the captain and pilot struggle. In the water, losing hope, they see Petrov coming to their rescue. Despite being suspended previously for a similar act of saving a man, Petrov doesn't hesitate. He maneuvers the ship towards them, and with the help of his team, saves the captain and pilot. The entire crew is relieved and grateful as they realize they have overcome a major crisis. Soon, they encounter the ship carrying Petrov's wife. They refill their fuel and continue their journey. They have survived a great ordeal and their story is published in the newspapers. Thanks to Petrov's wife, they had spent 133 days on that ship, proving that no matter how big the challenge, determination and teamwork can lead to success. The movie ends with the message that human resilience and effort can overcome any obstacle.